Today I'm going to do a demo on using oil pastels to shade a sphere. And if we're looking at this, this is just a black and white print off the computer, and it was done with graphite. We've already done some shading with graphite or pencil, so you know how to do that, how to get the gradation of tones going from darks to mediums to lights where the highlight is. Also remember, you're working with a light source, so if you do more than one sphere, the light source needs to be consistent. The light source is coming this direction, it hits here first, and then as it curves away, it gets darker on the outside. So on your pieces, you also need to have the same directional light source on each of your spheres. Okay, we're going to be working on dark paper, and I've got these handy dandy little lids to make our circles, a good template for making circles. I'm just going to start with one in pencil. I'm going to make my circle in pencil. And when I get to the oil pastels, I think I'm going to go with blues. Now the nice thing about blending with oil pastels, you have different shades of colors. So I can pick out a dark blue and a medium blue and a light blue and a white for the reflection. And I'm actually going to start, I'm going to use the same direction, light's coming this direction, so the light area is going to be here, and I'm going to start with a light coat, just kind of using the side of the oil pastel, a light coat of the white, and then I'm going to switch to the mediums and the dark. With oil pastel, it's important that you build the layers of color, and that gets them to work together. It's more like a gradation instead of just stripes of colors. So I'm going back and blending in each color with the previous color so it creates the gradation. Be careful on your edges. You can't erase oil pastel, so you want to keep them very crisp. We talked about that in the still life drawing. Okay, and here I have just a basic coat so far, basic coat of the oil pastel. Now I'm going to come back and very lightly put a little blue on top of that because I want the whole sphere to be blue. And then I'm going to come back again with a second coat that extends out a little bit further. And this is where I'm going to do the gradation work. I want the white to go this direction, the blue to go this direction, so they're starting to blend over each other, and it makes it look a lot smoother. Now also I want to talk about the direction of the lines that I'm using. I'm shading it in a curve that helps to make it look more three-dimensional and round. So I'm shading in a curve stroke. Putting a little more pressure on the oil pastel so that I get a good thick layer of oil pastel down on the paper. I start filling in all the little areas where you can still see the texture of the paper. Coming back with a little more white because I've got a lot of black area in there. So I just want it thicker. And keep building the layers up. Get your edges nice and crisp. Okay, and then, now I've rounded it this direction. Now I'm going to also round it in this direction using my fingertip. And this is what really smooths it out. If we were doing a pencil drawing, this would be like using the blender right at the end. So I've got all my tones down on there. I don't want to use my fingertip until I have all the tones and I have enough oil pastel on the paper. If you still have a lot of black of the paper showing through, then when you blend this, it's just going to start to remove some of the oil pastel and look real chalky instead of painterly. Okay, so I just keep working until it's real smooth and I have a nice sphere. Okay, now I'm going to do a second sphere that looks like it's behind this one. So I'm going to take a smaller template, lay it down so it's overlapping. I'm going to trace that around. And I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to start with the white area. And for this one, I think I'll go with some greens. So I'm going to choose a dark green and a medium green and start laying the first coat, which is just real quick, and then the second coat, and then you smooth the two together. Now, if you're in a position where you can't find a dark or a light, I want to show you how to mix those colors. You can tell I don't quite have enough down on the paper because it's looking more chalky right here. So I really need to spend a little more time putting some more layering on there. Okay, for instance, what if one of your colors is, let's go with yellow. And you don't have a dark yellow. So I'm just going to take my yellow, and since yellow is a very warm color, if I use black, which is a cool color, if I use black with this yellow, it's going to turn green. So I'm going to use the darkest brown as my darker color, and then I still have white, okay? So I'm going to start with white. I'm going to come in and put some brown down here. And then I'm going to do this yellow on top of it. So that gives me a dark yellow, and then I've got a medium yellow, and then the light yellow. And come back and work that out. Most of the colors have darker shades to them,